Hey, everybody! I'm clapping to get the energy up. Well, I'm having those people clap to get the energy up because guess what? How's your hearts? How's your minds? I hope your minds aren't too let down because the great Andy Frasco will not be here this week on this week's episode. He is unfortunately still wrapping up his tour, and it's pretty hard to get a podcast done with Andy when he is in the middle of the Bahamas and I am in a basement somewhere in Denver. As you can see, he caught me at the roads today. I'm doing a little writing maybe for my next album. Or maybe this is just the only place I could find to record. It doesn't really matter, does it? Andy will be back next week. I think this is like the end of his tour, so he'll be doing like one-offs. The band will be going to, I think they're going to Rhode Island next weekend and a bunch of other places. They're going to Atlanta for 420, all that stuff. So I'm sure all of you already have tickets. Speaking of tickets, I hope you got tickets. Last week, I went and saw Andy in Indiana, my home sweet home. They played the Hi-Fi, which is like I don't know if you are from Indiana or if you've been there. It's like a newer, like 450 cap venue. They also have like an outdoor venue right there in Indianapolis. Of course, Andy sold it out. This tour, he seems to be the only band out there that's trending up in ticket sales right now. So I think I have to start making more Instagram reels, I guess, to get the Coltet name out there a little more. But oh well. It was an awesome show. He had Allie, as you heard on the podcast last week. I love her. She's one of my favorite people ever. I think she's like the perfect addition to that band too. They needed like, I don't want to say female energy. That sounds too on the nose, but just a little softer side up there. And Allie does bring that. Also, she's like one of the best fiddle players around, great performer. So it's like a really good ad for them. And I love that there's like two Allies. There's like Allie Crawl, there's Allie Condon. And Allie Crawl is like the old rocker that still comes out, not old, but her old rock side. And Allie Condon's the sweet mother that she's developed into now that she has a kid, my friend. So she's been like a perfect addition for them. She was also really fun on the podcast last week. So shout out, Allie. Yes, I have the podcast machine this week. Yeah, Indiana was dope. It's just like, I guess anyone who knows, whenever you go somewhere that you're from and you go back and whenever I go to Indiana, there's three things I got to do. I got to go to the Mousetrap, which I did. I actually played a gig at the Mousetrap. Shout out to my band I had there. I had my old friend Sleepy. You may remember him. He was the drummer in Cosby Sweater and then Turbo Suit. And we also have played hundreds of jazz gigs around Indy together. And then I had this guy Sean McGowan on keys and this dude AJ Jones on bass, who I didn't meet till the day of the show really, but they're like killing local professionals. The show was great. We sold a pretty good amount of tickets, played all my originals. If you are one of the people that listens to the pod that came out, I thank you more than the other people. Unless you don't live in Indiana, then I guess you have an excuse. But yeah, Andy's show was dope. It was sold out. I got a Fort Wayne koozie from some guy in the crowd. I don't know who it was. I think he might have just messaged me on Instagram, but shout out to you. I will use that for my LaCroix, my beautiful, beautiful Pamplemousse LaCroix, which is just grapefruit, by the way. Okay. Yeah, Indiana. It's really kind of becoming a much better city. And I want to get on that because me and Andy have been doing this thing where we're both running for mayor there. And since I have your ear now, I'm going to give you my pitch. I got a boo for this during the show when he told the crowd, when he told me to give my pitch to the crowd. And I want to annex Carmel. And this isn't because I think Carmel is some good place. And if you don't know about Carmel, it's sort of like the Bel Air of Indianapolis. It's in another county. It's where the upper crust live, and then they commute into Indy, and they use all our roads, and they create all these potholes, and they drive up the inflation because they're spending a lot of money places, but they're not putting any tax revenue in Indiana. So that's going to be one of my my platforms. Is we're gonna annex Carmel. Okay. Plus, they have really good high school sports teams. They got people going pro all the time, and you know how important high school sports is there. Another thing about Indiana is right when I was landing, which made me feel right at home, is I was coming in on 70 or 65 into Indianapolis 70 into the airport, from the airport to town. And I saw way off in the distance what could only be the clouds that would form a tornado later that day. I'm not sure if it touched down, but it was definitely some sort of tornado was brewing off in the distance. And I said, I'm home. And that got me into, I don't know if anybody else has gotten sucked into this. It's starting to be tornado season. And my TikTok slash, yeah, I have TikTok. Okay. I don't make them, but there's funny shit on there. Okay. You can judge me. I'm in my 40s. I have a TikTok account. All right. The funniest people in the world are on TikTok. You can watch Stephen Colbert all you want. I'll be on TikTok watching 21-year-olds make fun of boomers for being capitalists. So basically, I've been getting like 400 tornado TikToks a day, and that also led me to watching that new Netflix documentary about the Joplin tornado, which is called, I think, Twister Caught in the Storm. Not a very good documentary. It's one of those Netflix ones where it almost seems like AI made it, but it would even be somehow, the interviews would be better if AI made it. They just interview like 7 people that were in the storm, and none of their, I don't know, it's their story, but some of it does seem a little exaggerated and made up, like when they said they saw a blue sky in the middle of the eye of the storm and stuff like that. But it was a harrowing tornado in Missouri. But I would recommend not watching that, and instead just go on YouTube and watch something some meteorology nerd who would have been into trains and got into tornadoes instead, if you know what I mean. Look at some video they made. They're like 100 million times better. So yeah, Indiana, great. Tornadoes, everything's cheaper there. Everything is cheaper in Indiana. I even bought people that weren't my girlfriend dinner. And you know that I don't like to do stuff like that. It sort of reminds me of, like, after like 3 days, like, I'm kind of done in Indiana. It's sort of like if you've ever been to Vegas, or if you've ever been to New Orleans, you know, like, you love it the first day. The second day you might be recovering. The third day you trick yourself into going to a tourist attraction or get a good meal, and then you're ready to go home by the third day. And I think it's like that with Indiana too, except for like in the opposite reason. In New York and New Orleans, you're ready to go home after 3 days because of the intense sensory overload you felt and how much fun you have and how you're overwhelmed by everything there is to do. Like, New York City's like this too, but in Indiana, it's the opposite. You're like, oh my God, I'm so bored. And you remember why you moved to Denver. I know it sounds like I'm being hard on Indiana, but I'm from there and I'm allowed to. It also has some of the best people in the country live there. Very funny, very down to earth. I feel very attractive when I'm there. Everybody seems to be doing pretty good. I don't know. It seems like all my friends there, it's like the two polar opposites. They're either owning what would be a $800,000 house here, 2 kids, good job, future laid out, still looking healthy and good, wife still hot, or they're like on the brink of prison. And, you know, they're drinking for breakfast and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'd like to see a little more of the middle range on that. I don't know. Indy's getting better though. Getting better every time. Coltet showed the mousetrap was dope. I did have the beef stew. If you're ever at the mousetrap, you got to have the beef stew. That's pretty much the wrap up for last week for Indiana. I'm going to have my buddy Drew on. We're going to do a little segment at the end. We're going to talk a little bit about this trivia show, maybe for a couple minutes, that he's been helping me shoot. And I have a fun little trivia game we're going to play together. He's a real funny guy. He's actually been doing all the video for my trivia show, but he is one of the best like hip hop producers in town too. So he's a pretty interesting guy. I'm going to have him on just to, you know, add a little flavor to the podcast here. And before I get into I'm going to get into some music news next. But before I do that, we got to shout out our title sponsors over there at Volume. Some of the best pros in the game when it comes to streaming. You know, there's other options out there. We all know who they are, but I don't think anyone meets the quality threshold that Volume does when it comes to streaming live concerts. And they're like, the interaction, you can be in the chat. Like, other ones, you can just stream live shows after the fact. You can still do that on Volume. Like, if you miss the show when it's premiered, you can watch it later. But it's also free in the moment. I don't know. People are staying in more streaming concerts. They kind of took that COVID thing that was going on and ran with it and made it applicable to the post-COVID world, if you will. It's all completely free. Also, if you're an artist, sign up for Volume. It's free to sign up. They have one of the best teams in the industry for stuff like this, for, you know, helping get your product out there. Because it's all dedicated music fans. They're not going to get sidetracked by watching Kill Tony or, you know, a video about tornadoes or, you know, some Final Four history recap. I mean, I'm not speaking about anyone's algorithm, you know, personally, but anything like that. So you're going to be to dedicated fans that are going to see your stuff. You can get on there for free. Also, you can add your own, I almost said prescription. subscription program, kind of like, the other ones where you subscribe for a monthly fee and you get some bonus features. Like, for example, Andy has one right now, and I think it's doing really well so far. It's called onlyfrascos.com. Obviously, you get what that it's a reference to. I know he gives you at least one bonus stream a month and a bunch of other goodies. Sometimes he hops on there live. He'll be doing some Monday morning motivations. I'm sure I'll get on there on Wednesdays or Thursdays and do some stuff too. There's a wide variety of things. It's well worth it. For instance, you're getting an experience for $5 a month. Some other people out there, some schmuck, some loser is going to spend over 12 grand for something in the music industry that other people are getting paid to do. I don't know if you've heard about this. Gene Simmons, he's the, if you don't know who he is, he's the, maybe the biggest narcissist in music. Not that I'm not a Kiss fan. He is a bass player in Kiss, the guy with the tongue. Kiss, they have their place in music. They're important for a show, but I think that Gene Simmons is a pretty insufferable guy, and I don't think I'm the first person and won't be the last person to tell you that. And he's offering this new program. He's calling it basically he's eliminating the VIP, and he's making you an indentured servant for the day, but you pay him $12,000. Here's a breakdown. In his words, here's what Gene Simmons said. And I can't do his voice. You meet at the hotel where you have breakfast together, or, whatever floats your boat. So he's already trying to get out of having breakfast with you, which who the hell would want to have breakfast with that guy in the first place? Who knows he probably has some weird diet. He's going to talk about himself the whole time and all the women he had sex with. And who knows if that was even up to par. But, Gene Simmons is going to sit there and have breakfast with you. And then he said, you're going to ride with him to the gig. Okay, so you get to get back in the back of a Pontiac Grand Prix with the rider from the venue and ride with Gene Simmons while he talks about himself some more. You probably have to put the windows down because the guy's air conditioning doesn't work. Then you help him set up amplifiers and drums to your heart's content. Are you fucking kidding me? Someone's going to pay you 12 grand? First of all, is this a union violation? I feel like, is someone going to lose their job over this? I feel like he might get sued by the union. He's playing some real venues, so I assume. This is like the ultimate boomer fame thing. I do think that this kind of thing won't exist down the road just because people don't realize how fucking famous Kiss was. They were extremely, extremely famous and to a way that only Taylor Swift can do now. But obviously she has some tact and some level of morality, so she wouldn't charge you 12. First of all, she doesn't need the fucking money. And she wouldn't charge you 12 grand to hang out with her for the day and pay for everything and set up her amplifiers and probably tune her guitar. I don't know who would pay for this. This is the boomer fucking archetype of fame right here. You pay to hang out with, it's like remember they have those they would have those fantasy baseball camps for old men to go play with whatever, Johnny Bench or something for a week, and you get to play in a baseball diamond and get struck out by former major league pitchers who are trying to pay for their alcohol habit. This is like the rock and roll version of that. And then, it's wow, I can't believe Gene Simmons finally did something sleazy 77 years into his life, which is crazy that he's almost 80 and he still needs the money this bad. Kiss is one of they got to be one of the highest grossing rock bands of all time. They have that movie, Detroit. The movie Detroit Rock City might be actually better than Kiss. Here's this quote. Here's how this is a man that's so insufferable and sleazy that he once got cut off in an interview by Terry Gross on NPR. The softest, most, giving woman in the history of journalism cut off Gene Simmons. That's how insufferable he is. Here's another quote he had about it. When I was a kid and went to see shows, I was always curious. What's it like when they're in a hotel? What's it like when the stage is being set up? What's it like being on stage when they're performing and seeing the audience from the stage? He told that to New York Post. But that's insane. When kids sit around and dream about that stuff, they don't dream about being the roadie. No one dreams about being the roadie. No one dreams about being the accountant at the tech company. No one dreams about being the video guy for a Major League Baseball team. No, they dream about being the center fielder. They dream about being the guy that created whatever, NBA 2K25. Not the guy that helps the draws the characters. They don't dream about carrying your amp for you. They dream about being the guy on stage. And when they say watching the crowd from on stage, they don't mean you doing it from side stage. You want to be on stage. Also, that's the dumbest way to watch a Kiss show possible. You could argue the only thing good about Kiss is the live performance. which kind of gets me. Maybe Andy Frasco has they have a really good live profile. I wonder if he's inspired by Kiss at all. His music is much better than Kiss to me, but I wonder if he was inspired by the great Gene Simmons for his live show. Like, the whole point of watching a Kiss show is not to watch it from the side. So my point is, I don't know if this sold yet or what's going on with this. Is this like the lamest thing you could possibly do? Is the person that does this the biggest loser in the world? And should his wife, because, only a man would do this. No woman would do this because, number one, Gene Simmons would try to sleep with her immediately. That's pretty well documented, unless he's a liar, which is very possible. Only a man would do this. It's like, the same guy that's still collecting baseball cards in his 70s. Only a man would do this. And at what point of delusion and this is like the ultimate parasocial relationship. At what point of parasocial psychosis are you to give a guy almost 13 grand? You could buy a used 2010 Honda Accord for that money, flip it. Fix it up and flip it. No, you're going to go hang out with one of the most insufferable guys in rock and roll and do work. It'd be funny if they I wonder what the insurance thing is there, because it's going to be an older guy. So I wonder what the insurance protocol there is, if the guy hurts his back or something carrying something. This kind of got me to thinking, is this the end of idolatry in the music industry? And where is this part of the human psyche going to go? Because it has to go somewhere. Nothing just disappears. It's like one of those laws of thermodynamics or whatever, where it's energy can neither be created or destroyed. It's just transferred. And I don't know the exact words, but energy can't be destroyed. It's just changed into other things. And I just wonder if this kind of parasocial relationship, besides the Taylor Swift fans in their late 30s, with 2 kids going online to be racist to Beyonce, where's that going to go? And I kind of think it's going to go to streamers like Kai Cenat, Speed, all those people instead. I don't know. I just don't. I just can't. I can't imagine paying more than $10K to, because he's probably 5'4", right? Since he's that famous and he's wearing heels, you got to pay 12. I wonder if someone's going to have to give him uppies or something to get something off the top cabinet or something like that. I don't know. It's fun to hate on Kiss, though. And I'm also a little torn on Kiss because they are a pretty fun band. They represent something. I do want to rock and roll all night, and I do kind of want to. I don't know if I want to party every day, but I want to party once or twice a week. So they do kind of represent a part of the human psyche that's it's there, but that doesn't mean it's good. I don't know. And I also think they're really bad at their instruments. That's one thing. They're just a terrible, terrible, terrible band. Tech bros ruining everything. They are ruining South by Southwest now. They're not. Okay, so I looked into this more. The headlines sort of made it seem like they're getting rid of music completely, which would be pretty bad, but also pretty on brand with how the concert industry is going in general. But South by Southwest is getting rid of music for the whole closing weekend of the thing. And this means so only 7 days out of 9 are going to have music. So at this rate, in 3 or 4 years, there will be no more music at South by Southwest. It's just going to be a conference for the same people I've been making fun for 4 years on here, the tech bros. And I don't know what tech bros, you already have $1 billion. I don't know what their obsession is right now with making themselves cool. You can see Jeff Bezos doing it. He's getting plastic surgery, getting a hot wife, wearing shiny. That's a clear sign that a guy over 55 or whatever is trying to be cool. And one of the number one things when you know that they're getting a little midlife crisis-y and trying to be cool, the shiny button down, okay? Or the very tight compression shirt, or both. When they start wearing shiny button downs and getting a little more tan, it's time for therapy, okay? And this is where I wish we were sponsored by a therapy company right now, and I would do the bump here, but we're not, okay? It's time for therapy. When you see your dad, let's say you have a divorced dad, a single divorced dad, and he's starting to wear shiny shirts and he's starting to try to hang out, that's when you take him to therapy, okay? And these are the kind of people that are taking over South by Southwest. And I'm kind of sick of these Gen Z coders and boomer, just the different generation, even millennial CEOs getting into this stuff where it's movies and music and just ruining it. The closest a tech bro should be to music is hiring hiring Tyga to play their corporate party every year in February, where they launch their new stupid product that's just another thing where someone does a menial task for someone else, where where they're a private contractor, so they don't get health coverage. I mean, all they're doing is taking away health coverage from industries. And now they want to get into music and ruin everything. So basically, like, there's going to be 3 badges now at South by Southwest. There's going to be a journalism badge, a tech badge, I think, and then like the lowest one, which is $450, is you only go to the music. You only go to the music events. So I think my advice to you people right now is to just only get the music badge if you want to save this thing. But it doesn't matter, because I feel like I haven't really been to South by Southwest recently. I haven't been, I go to Austin every couple of years. I feel like from what I hear, it was kind of falling apart anyway from music just because of the record labels. But now, I don't know, the record labels have lost so much power. It's like I'm starting to feel bad for them even. And I think the problem here is just tech bros trying to be cool. No one wants to see your new fucking product at South by Southwest, okay? Just do a TED Talk. Shut the fuck up. Stop trying to be cool. Give them backstage passes. I don't know. Buy the fucking Gene Simmons experience if you want to be in the music industry so bad. You probably still think he's cool. You're so fucking out of touch. I don't know, man. What else I got here? Actually, back to that. It's like the tech bros, like, another thing about them is like, it would be cool. It would be cool because they do have a lot of money. It would be nice to have people with a lot of money get in the music industry, put some life into it, put some creativity into it. Kind of like actors used to do back in the 60s and 70s, or just like more famous people. But the problem with actors now is they're all just kind of like actors and other musicians. They used to be guys that like worked in coal mines and went to LA to find a better life. And now it's just like J.J. Abrams' daughter. You know what I mean? Which isn't fair, because Gracie Abrams is actually talented, but she was the first Nepo baby I could think of. But the problem is these nerds, they have no fucking style. They have no taste or anything. Not that I'm a fucking tastemaker, but I'm not ruining South by Southwest either. Like, they don't have any sort of touch to put on anything. Like, every time a tech bro gets into this kind of stuff and starts making shit like this, it just seems to turn into a crumble cookie or something, where everything's stainless steel and it's just too sweet and it's too much and you need an app to do everything. I want to just go buy a ticket and watch a bunch of guys who are borderline homeless play pretty badly some songs you kind of like in white t-shirts. That's what you want at South by Southwest, okay? Not crumble cookies with a DJ. One more thing in the music industry. I don't know. I just want to talk about a lot of music stuff. We'll see what they even keep out of this. Chappell Roan. This story is about a month old, but she obviously won the Best New Artist award at the Grammys, and she went on a speech about how she's been on a label for 10 years and she's made it now. And, she went on a little speech about how we need to give these people on labels coming up, they need to be given a living wage to work with and health coverage. A pretty milquetoast point, actually, but something that a lot of people in her position wouldn't be brave enough to do because they're scared of their label. So while it is like it's an easy stance to take, it is the right stance, and no one else is doing it. And it's pretty insane. And I got to say, like, I've been keeping like a little pop it girl power rankings, and I say she's number 1 right now, right? Number 1's her. Number 2 is Sabrina, because she's sort of like the one that, like, she's a little risque, but she's still got the Disney. So like 14-year-old girls can get into her, but also like the Taylor Swift crowd can get into her. Then there's like Gracie Abrams, like I just mentioned. She's like the one. She's number 3 right now. She's going to be on the come up big time this year. She has like these emotional songs that connect with people, which is really weird because my girlfriend worked her concert last year and said everyone was screaming the lyrics the whole time and you could barely hear her, which is very, very, very funny when you consider like how quietly she's singing. And also I heard that Gracie, like Taylor, she must have learned this from the school of Taylor, treats everyone around her with like a lot of respect, says hi to everyone. And then there's, Charlie XCX. She's for like your bad girl, the girls who are doing cocaine in the bathroom, the fun girls, they like to go to EDM. That's the Charlie XCX. She fucking rules. And then there's Olivia Rodrigo. I don't know. She's my least favorite. I think she's going to flame out. She's a little too childish. Anyway, Chappell Roan goes on this speech and she gets into talking about, living wage, blah, blah, blah. And this douchebag. I mean, who could possibly disagree with that, right? Well, there's this guy, Jeff Rabin. Like I said, I know the story's a couple weeks old. He wrote like an op-ed for, I think, the Hollywood Reporter. And he said, well, you should put your money where your mouth is then, if you're going to be so. First of all, I doubt Chappell Roan's like, fuck you, rich yet. She's been famous for 9 months. I mean, she's probably still paying back her record deal. She's been on a label for 10 years. She comes from like Springfield, Missouri. I don't think she's like one of the few people who made it off sheer talent in the industry. And he's telling her, oh, why don't you put your money where your mouth is? This guy's a journalist, a hack. Like, he just is a journalist. He runs the Clive Davis Institute at NYU, which, he's just a journalist suit. He, of course, has a tech company of his own that does God knows what. It has, one of those things where it should have an ER on the end, but it just has the R. That's when you know it's a douchebag running it. That's like the least creative way to name a company. And they all do it. It's all very vanilla and on brand. So he's telling her to match or to donate money. She goes, fine, I do. I'm going to. And she immediately gives $25K to Backline. Shout out Backline. There's a free bump. If you need therapy, if you're a musician or whatever, hit up Backline. She donates $25K, gets a bunch of her rich homies to do the same thing. And I don't think that I don't think he has donated. I looked it up yesterday, and to this point, he hasn't matched her donation. And I'm pretty sure he has more money than her. And it's just like insane that a guy that basically he's a shill for the record labels. He works for Clive Davis. He's a music journalist, that probably can't fucking play anything. He probably can bang out a little Nickelback. Which, by the way, shout out Nickelback. You could be Gene Simmons types, but you're not. You're just chill. You're just playing arenas in Canada and being chill. Anyway, he could donate money. He probably has more money than her. He's made all his money talking about people like her, not making anything, working for a record label, one of the biggest record label. The guy who propped up Diddy is the guy that runs the foundation that he is like in charge of at NYU. And this guy's telling a girl that like grinded it out in bars in Missouri and came up writing great songs, is a lesbian, is a woman in the music industry. Like, telling her to put her money where her mouth is fucking insane. Like, I just don't want any more opinions on the music industry from like journalists, maybe even managers. If you haven't had to ride overnight in a 15-passenger van from Des Moines to Kansas City, I don't think you should be allowed to tell people what to do with your money. Okay? Chappell's right. I'm not saying that like some people fail. That doesn't mean you need to get rich, but maybe like a minimum wage for anybody on a big record label. At least put them on your fucking group healthcare plan. Just this guy, like, getting pissed off at her is, I don't know. He's never made anything except for articles about stuff other people have made. He's a fucking pussy, all right? So match the donation, dude. You have more money than her. All right, so I think that's enough music news. I do have a couple voicemails from last time. I don't know if you remember, we talked a little bit about drones and what makes a good friend. Here's a good prompt for next week's voicemail. Besides Gene Simmons, who is one guy, like, music aside, you can love their music, separate the art from the artist, and let's not include any criminal activity. Someone you just think is kind of an asshole, like someone you think is just kind of a douche, maybe all about themselves, a narcissist. Call in and give me that. I don't want to hear no assault, no drug addict stuff. I don't want to hear about crimes, just people you don't want to get dinner with, okay? Who's the number one guy in rock and roll or whatever that you wouldn't want to get dinner with, not based on any crimes? And here's a couple voicemails from last week. Here's number one.
I'm here listening to the Jam Cruise live episode.
Great episode.
And I was enjoying the band segments, and I heard the saxophone, and I was like, is that Nick? Because this whole time, since Nick, since you're probably listening to this, became more of a part of the show, I've always in the back of my mind been like, I wonder if he sucks or not.
I do that too sometimes.
Fucked up. Nick, you are a bad motherfucker on the saxophone, bro. You are a complete badass. And I didn't know.
Okay, so that's an example of just a really good voicemail, just calling in and telling me that I'm really talented. That's a good one. Here's the next one. This is from Connor. He had a good idea about so this is the prompt. I said, picking up your friend at the airport is a really good sign that you are a good friend. And here's my friend Connor McAvoy saying what he thinks a good friend is.
Hey, Andy and Nick, it's Connor McAvoy. I listened to the podcast this morning. And Nick, I just want to tell you what makes a friend. A true friend is there for someone when they're feeling down. Be open up to being vulnerable. Just being a friend to other people, which is being humble, kind, have each other's backs, and that's what makes a friend. All right, bye, guys.
All right, that's a really good one. Being vulnerable, being humble. I still think that, let's say, I had a guy friend and I was going back to India. I would much rather have them save me $40 on an Uber than being vulnerable. But I do like the humble part. But I think I'm going to go with airport still. Here's one more. This is from New Jersey. He was responding to the drones thing, and I think he has another good friend one.
What up? This is Brownie from North Jersey. Yes, I am trash, and yes, we do still have some drones flying around. There were some out in, actually not far from where Trump's golf course is, out by Bedminster, not too long ago. And also something that makes somebody a true friend. Everyone's willing to help out with my dog, but you know what? No one will really do, only a true friend. Feed and or scoop my cat's litter box. That's a true friend. Somebody doesn't ask, your cat, or say, your cat will be fine, your cat will be fine. It's just a fucking cat. No, someone's like, no, I'll come and take care of your cat and, not even worry or say, hey, how's the dog doing? They just come in, take care of your cat, scoop your cat shit, because you know what? That's what cats expect. All right, guys, be good.
Wow, that's a good one. First of all, my first question is, why do you as a man have a cat? So that's the first, my first problem with I'm just kidding. I love cats, actually. I love cats. I would love to get a little cat for Denzel to be friends with. We have one in the building right now. Denzel's my big black standard poodle. He's been on the show a couple times. He's obsessed with this cat, Brian, in our building right now. And I finally let him get close, and I was scared that he was going to attack him, but nope. He just sniffed him a little bit. I don't know what to say about the drones. That might have just been an election thing. I guess they're still flying around out there, though, but who knows what the fuck they're doing. I mean, what could they possibly be doing in New Jersey to make it any worse anyway? So, all right. Thanks a lot, Volume. Check out Frasco.com. We're going to go on here. I'm going to have Drew on here for a little bit here. We're going to do a little talking about my trivia thing. We're going to play a little game. I don't know. I'm going to go over there. He just got home from Arkansas. He'll probably have some fun stuff to say. All right. Bye-bye. Bye. Okay. And we're back. We're here with the legendary Drew Birch. How you doing, Drew?
How are you doing? Doing great.
Drew, you just got back from Arkansas?
I did.
How was that?
It was lovely. Arkansas in the spring.
Arkansas in the spring? Did you watch any basketball while you were there?
Watch the Sweet 16. Watched the heartbreaking loss.
Classic John Calipari. He is a very bad end-of-game decision maker. Which brings me to my next question. Did you make the decision to watch that new tornado documentary on?
Yeah, we watched. Yeah,
on
we
Netflix.
Turned it on. Yeah, I
spent half an hour making fun of that because we kind of talked about it on our Facebook message chat we do, and you were saying you guys hated it, and I didn't realize I hated it till the second time I watched it.
It's awful.
And I watched 30 YouTube documentaries in between that were all better, and I realized that all they did in that. The only thing they did the whole movie was just interview 7 high schoolers.
I thought some of them were fake. I thought some of them were actors.
I actually said that in the beginning. I was like, some of these stories seem fucking impossible.
Sitting on the car, and she's just like, grew up, just from around the way. Yeah. And I was like, you look like you got hired. And I don't know.
It sounds like AI wrote. It sounds like they were reading off an AI script. And also the thing about when they were in the middle of a tornado and like, it was a blue sky above us. I don't think it works. I don't think it works like that. I don't think it's all of a sudden.
I looked it up. There is. Are you talking about when they were in the middle of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a thing called like a blowhole or a blowout or something.
Like the eye of a hurricane.
Yeah. It's like this little negative energy that sucks the.
But is it like a perfect blue sky above you?
I don't know.
I just don't think any of that's real. I watched a bunch of TikToks that were better than that documentary.
I did too. I watched the Twist X.
Shit.
Twist X death.
I was in Indiana while you were in Arkansas. Did you see a lot of fat and depressing people while you were there?
Everybody was gone on spring break, so.
So yes.
Yeah.
So there's like twice as many because all the hot students were gone. I mean, no, they're over 18. I guess that's kosher. That's kosher. So the reason I'm having Drew on today is, well, number one, he's cool and he's my friend. He's one of the better hip hop producers. Ooh, you just told me you have a secret project you have to work on tomorrow.
Oh yeah. I do.
So Drew's making some tunes for like a really big R&B artist. We can't say who it is. So is that harder or easier than writing for yourself, do you think?
Probably easier. Just because there's no...
You already know you're going to fail kind of, and you're like, whatever.
You just have to do the easiest thing ever. Just like write 3 chords and...
A demo, basically?
Yeah.
And then you're just like... Make
it good, and you send it off and do stuff on this.
And you're already on 0 anyway with them, so it's like so
nothing to lose.
And sometimes they end up liking that shit better that you make.
Yeah,
because you have no emotional connection.
Right.
To
then
it.
I'm like, I'm going to keep this. Actually.
Yeah, they don't like it. Yeah, I'm actually just going to turn this into a Diastrada song.
Yeah.
So the main reason I have Drew on is because of myself, because I'm obsessed with myself, and we've been doing this trivia podcast show. It's going to come out in about a month. We're working out the details, and Drew's the video guy. First of all, I'm a little worried about you. Every time I come over here, there's $700 worth of weird stuff from. He's going to the flea market. He comes back with these VHSs, and you're just like, it's what you got one in an estate sale, and it's like some guy's home videos, and it looks like it's like you're just like waiting for the next scene to be a dead body.
That
or
was
like,
kind of the thought. Yeah, I was excited.
What's the creepiest thing you found on there?
I don't know. Lots of talks that were in the back of a limousine heading to the airport to go to Russia to discuss some stuff, and they were all dressed up really nicely. Then they had their child with them. That was interesting.
Are they speaking Russian?
No.
Oh. So it's not that Russian. So they're not planning anything illegal?
I don't really know. I want to believe so.
So basically it was like that Signal chat.
Yeah, exactly.
They just leaked their Signal chat from 40 years ago.
Yeah.
They're also Russian assets. Yeah, every time I come over here, there's like a new green screen or you got some video mixer today when you landed from Arkansas.
Yeah.
What's going on? What are you turning into here?
Music is not working, I guess.
Get in line.
Yeah. No, I like doing both. I like the visual and music, side.
So like, what's the end game here with all this collection? Are you going to be that weird guy in his 50s? It's like has a ranch house in the neighborhood and his garage is just filled with shit.
Probably. Tube TVs.
Those guys usually retire pretty happy.
Yeah.
They've got no one around. They've got all their little toys.
Oh yeah, it's cute.
They do have a retirement usually though. That's the problem.
Yeah, and they've got animals. Yeah. Yeah, and that's fun. Camcorders.
You got Scooter.
What?
You don't need an animal. You got Scooter. There's a big Scooter.
Yeah, that's not mine. That certainly scoots about.
It's a fucking $800 scooter, dude. That is not like
that thing rips.
That is not like one of those.
The cops are here.
The cops are definitely here. We haven't even started doing drugs yet. It's only 8.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know, man. What do you?
Yeah, I want to do visuals for my stuff with circuit bending and all that stuff. That seems really fun.
Explain to the people out there who are normal what circuit bending is.
Honestly, I really don't even know.
It just makes.
I do know that
weird.
you like resolder stuff and give it different channels and pathways, so it makes it cool, like glitchy effects and stuff. But I kind of thought that. Yeah, I thought you would ask me that.
It kind of makes.
Still didn't prepare.
That's okay. It's not an interview. What do you think about the trivia pod? Do you think it's pretty good?
I like it a lot. Yeah, I got pretty stoked on it after we finished it.
I know. Were you surprised at how good I was at reading?
It was quick. It was quick.
Drew wasn't sure if I knew I was going to read. Give it up for me for knowing how to read.
That was great.
Hell yeah.
Straight up.
We did it in his basement. He has a green screen down there. It looks cool. We have like a whole desk. And Drew's making it all funny. And we went to the park and took a camcorder to the park. And we weirded remember that guy we weirded out with his dog?
Oh, yeah. He was straightforward. Didn't look up.
He was like walking by with a dog. I tried to be like, say hi to him and like, be like, we're not that weird, even though he's like videotaping me on an outdoor elliptical machine at like 4 p.m. God knows what we're on.
You were like, hey man, nice dog.
Yeah, there's a shot in the thing where I'm on an elliptical machine. Okay, when you see that, just remember there's a guy walking his dog behind Drew, and I'm like, hey man, how you doing? And he looks at me like I am John Wayne Gacy or something, like I'm playing to kill the president. So
kind of do look like him a little bit.
I mean, I'll take that. I've emailed him at least 6 times trying to get him to come on the podcast. I really want to interview just one guy who shot a president. And I don't want to ask him about that at all. I just want to ask him about he's like a singer-songwriter now.
Yeah, you don't really look like him. You sound like him though.
What else have you been working on lately?
That's kind of it. I'm about to make some more music, more solo stuff. Oh, and the Flamingosis record.
The Flamingo record.
Yeah, Flamingo and Diastrada collab record. It's got 8 tracks on it.
Diastrada's Drew's duo group.
Yeah, with Ian Gilly.
They used to be called Recess, if you want to, but look up Diastrada, DIA.
Yeah.
DEI.
Trademark. DEI.
DEISTRATA. No, DIA. So,
STAR.
and you just put out a solo record too. But what's up with
Yeah.
this Flamingos record? When's that coming out? Do you know yet?
I think looking at summer, like late summer, get some singles rolling out.
Yeah.
It's 8 tracks. Good. You're on it.
I am on 1 track. I charged you guys a lot of money for that. It didn't work. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good record.
Yeah, late summer. I think that's.
I knew MD'd his band. That seemed like a lot. There was a lot of different personalities in that.
Yeah, a lot of goofy boys, but it worked out. Everybody got along great.
Everybody, yeah, you guys do get along pretty good. It's not because you only have to tour with each other twice a year for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
you don't have to see them very often.
Yeah, we just don't talk when we're in town.
Yeah, and Drew and Scott aren't going, so the 2 nerds aren't there.
Yeah. They might be able to balance it out a little bit.
Actually, yeah, you could probably use them a little bit. Andrew's big.
Yeah.
Nice to have a tall guy around.
Yeah, it helps.
So, the trivia pod.
Yeah.
What do you think we can do to make it better? Do you think it's as good as it's going to be for the first episode? I think it's there.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's one you can't think too much about,
Yeah. I like how it's short.
Yeah.
Kind of like a couple of musicians in our scene. Nice and short. Those are the best musicians, though.
Right. Yeah, you got a lot of soul.
The episode has Napoleon complex because it's very short.
Oh yeah.
Drew just got off a plane from Arkansas today. How much hotter were the people as soon as you hit the Denver airport?
Yeah, they're good-looking people
compared to the Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean the plane, is coming from Arkansas, so it wasn't.
Oh, true. So maybe wait till you get to baggage at least for that kind
baggage
of thing.
claim was on fire.
So it was at least 7s and up, man. We're talking about both men and women, by the way.
I think that some hot people don't even really fly. I think they just go to the airport and congregate.
Dude, why is everybody at the airport hot?
I don't know.
Like seriously,
it's expensive. So
true, and rich people are more attractive, aren't they?
Yeah, that's
your
kind
of weeds out the. Well, it's also real.
Yeah, true.
Being rich, you eat better.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom's probably hotter because she's rich, so she's married to a rich guy, and everybody's attractive.
A lot of happiness. Yeah.
There's a genetic component to being wealthy, I guess, and it really pays off in the looks category. Yeah, when you get to the Indy airport, you definitely see a sharp decline. A lot of people working at Raytheon and Roche Diagnostics hitting the road for the weekend or going. I was flying during spring break, so there's a bunch of families on my flight.
Oh yeah,
which is the worst thing ever.
Yeah,
families and old people.
I had a lot of families.
God, families are the worst, right? I hate them. Yeah. What are you gonna do about your solo record? You gonna make another solo record?
Yeah, I am supposed to do part Shades, part 2.
You should call it part 2, like Hot Shots. Remember Hot Shots?
Oh yeah.
With Charlie Sheen, it was like a Top Gun spoof.
Yeah.
Shades part 2.
Yeah, I got to do that one at some point, and then I kind of want to do some left field stuff, put out some singles of stuff that it isn't even in that.
Just get out there and try to play some shows and lose some money again, huh?
Lose some more money. Circuit bend,
so I can buy my little trinkets and toys to move on.
Build my happy little life.
You know what else I talked about in the opening was, or the main chunk or whatever. I talked about. Do you remember that Chappell Roan shit where she donated money to Backline because that reporter called her out?
Yeah,
journalists are the worst.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree on that. So I looked up on because you were like, "How's that going to work?" Because we didn't know how big Backline was. Remember we were talking about it on the thing?
I thought there was... Yeah.
No. So basically they just like find you a therapist. And the money...
Cool. So they're like a third... Or they're like a...
They're like a... Yeah, it's like a fungibility thing.
Yeah.
All the dollars they get in just go to pay the therapist.
Okay.
Backline. Cool. Everybody get on Backline. I know you're sad. It's raining out today in Denver. I know you're sad. Well, I just wanted to get Drew on here so you guys can meet him. He's the guy... He's like the creative mastermind behind the new Wrong Trivia, the podcast.
It's going to be good. I'm excited about it.
I know. It's going to be one of the better things I've made, which, I don't know, isn't saying much. I'm sorry Andy wasn't on the pod this week. He's swimming in the ocean and stuff. We'll be back with our regular dumbass fucking banter soon. Do you have any words of advice or wisdom for the people this week out there in Frasco land?
Man, that's
now tough. You hate Frasco, right?
No, I love Andy. I love Andy.
You said he's not very talented and he's a bad entertainer or something?
I said that he's an absolute hack, yeah.
And I'm just kidding. You're from Arkansas, so you've probably been seeing him for 20 years, right?
I saw him come through Webby D's, the old Webby D's in Fort Smith.
Oh, wow.
He's been doing that. Or he was doing that for a while.
He came to Fort Smith.
A lot.
That guy has mastered the
This was like 12 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
It's the same set list, I think, too.
No, he's got a bunch of new tunes.
just
They're
kidding.
good now. No, that's a good joke, though.
Thanks.
Yeah, he's mastered the D market. Now he's mastering the A markets. Anyway, he'll be back. Do you have any words of wisdom for these people this week?
I don't know. Stay in the line. Color. Stay in the lines.
Stay in the lines?
Color in the lines. Don't do it. Don't step too far out.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, just made that up.
I just kind of made up so you're saying the opposite. So basically, don't break the rules.
Don't break the rules. Assimilate. Get a 9 to 5.
There you go. Keep going.
Shade correctly.
Shade correctly.
And don't color things that they're not supposed. If it's a purse, it should be red or yellow.
Yeah, Disney.
Yeah.
All right, that's probably.
Oh boy.
Anyway, Drew Birch, everybody, give it up for him. We'll see you next week. Chris, play us out. Bye.
Bye-bye.